So let me shift to the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks lost to the Clippers in the first round in 7 games. And ultimately, the better and more talented team won the series. The Clippers, they're better, they're more talented, they're more experienced than the Mavericks. But what you have to know about this series is the Dallas Mavericks had a 2-0 lead. And many people at that point wrote the Clippers off. They said, man, Dallas is looking good. The Clippers are going to fold. It's over. But the Clippers ultimately rallied, and they came back and won the series in 7 games. Now, you might ask, who's ultimately to blame for this collapse by the Dallas Mavericks? To me, I blame Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle did win a championship back in 2011 with the Dallas Mavericks as their head coach, but ever since then, the Dallas Mavericks have not even won a first-round playoff series. I think Rick Carlisle is slowly becoming overrated rather than underrated, which he was a couple of years ago. He didn't make enough adjustments, whereas Tyronn Lue did make some adjustments. And, I also blame the Dallas Mavericks defense. They could not get stops when they needed most defensively. And if you're a bad defensive team, if you're an all-time bad defensive team, and the Dallas Mavericks are an all-time bad defensive team, you're not going to win a series, okay? But I most importantly blame, crazy enough, Luka Dončić for the Dallas Mavericks losing in the first round to the Clippers. And I know what you're going to say, Jamon, Luka averaged 35 points per game, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, shot 49% from the field. And ultimately, I will admit, he played really, really, really well. And ultimately, the better team won this series. But the details matter. I watched that series. And Dallas looked like they were just as good, if not the better team, on most nights. And Dallas had a 2-0 lead in the series. And even after that, when they squandered that 2-0 lead, they had a 3-2 lead. And when it mattered the most, guess what? Luka Dončić came up small. And I know he had an amazing Game 7. He couldn't have done much more in Game 7. But the problem is, Luka had a chance to close out the Clippers in Game 3 and 4. And ultimately, he also had a chance in Game number 6. There should have never been a Game 7. Okay? And Luka Dončić is at a point where he's so good that I have to raise the standards for him. His standards are already very high. Everyone seemed to be anointing Luka Dončić during this series as a top 5 player in all basketball. And I say to that, no. You must win a playoff series, Luka Dončić, before I anoint you a top 5 player in all basketball. Because in game number 4, you scored 19 points and shot 37% from the field at home. That's not a way to close out a team. In game 6 at home, Kawhi Leonard outplayed you down the stretch, okay? And Kawhi Leonard was the guy that refused to lose. And also, keep this in mind. Luka Dončić, during this series, shot 54% from the free throw line. That is abysmal, that is atrocious, and that is all-time bad for an NBA superstar, point blank period. Okay? Especially of Luka Doncic's caliber. I know he's not an elite free throw shooter, but Luka can knock down 70 to 75% of his free throws. 54% is not good enough. And what do you know? Maybe if the Mavericks shoot a little bit better from the free throw line, maybe they win the series, He also played pretty lousy defense, and in the fourth quarter, his numbers went down significantly. Went down from 3-point range, field goal percentage, points per game, things like that. He just wasn't able to close out the Clippers. And I'm not here to crush Luka Dončić because he has a tremendous career ahead of him. I could see him winning multiple championships, but Luka Dončić, when it's all said and done, he did not close out the Clippers when it mattered most. He was the guy that the Mavericks looked to go to. He was not there when it mattered most, and Kawhi Leonard was. Maybe Luka can win a playoff series next year, and going forward, we'll see. I'm definitely sure he will. But so far, I have to blame Luka Dončić for a big reason why the Clippers were able to come back in the series versus the Dallas Mavericks. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.